I will be showing you the method of freeze pump thaw. It's a common method used for the degassing of solvents, so removing oxygen as well as any other volatile gases that are dissolved in the solution. So today I'm going to be freeze pump thawing a solution. It's an N,N-dimethylformamide, or DMF. I have my solution here and it's in a Schlenk flask and it's attached to the Schlenk line. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is, of course, you want to make sure that all of your joints are greased well and everything is attached properly. This is really important because you don't want air to get into the Schlenk line while you're doing this, because you could make liquid oxygen, and that's very dangerous. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up the back line. So I'm going to be putting a dewar up against the muck trap. So the reason that you want to put that on before you put liquid nitrogen in the dewar is because as you bring a dewar full of liquid nitrogen up, the glass is warmer than the liquid nitrogen and it'll spit all over. So now I'm going to fill a secondary dewar with some liquid nitrogen. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the liquid nitrogen into the dewar. It's really important that when you pour the liquid nitrogen into the dewar, within 20 seconds you turn on the vacuum line. Otherwise you will just be condensating oxygen and forming liquid oxygen. So before you turn the vac line on, you're going to close both of your taps. So there's one tap that will lead to the Schlenk line and one tap that will lead to the atmosphere. You want to make sure both of them are closed. So you're going to pour in the liquid nitrogen. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on my vacuum. Okay, so our vacuum pump is located down below the fume hoods. So you're just going to flick on your power source, however it is, and then it will come through this black line back here, and we now have vacuum under this region right here. So the next thing you can do is, with all your other taps closed, you can open up the vacuum to the Schlenk line. You'll hear it gurgle a bit. It's just getting all of the atmosphere out of the Schlenk line. And so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to follow the method. So it's freeze, pump, thaw. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your tap to the solvent is closed. I'm not going to do this part under a vacuum. And then you are going to use a smaller dewar for this part. You're going to drop your solvent down into the dewar, and you're going to fill it with liquid nitrogen. Ideally, you would like to have the liquid nitrogen at the same line as your solvent. So I'm going to lower it in a little bit further in order to get full coverage. So I'm going to pour in the liquid nitrogen. So you can see that the line of the liquid nitrogen is roughly where the line of my solvent is. So we're just going to let it freeze. Add a bit more, it's starting to come off. So you may not be able to see, but if I were to pull up my solvent now, you can see that it is mostly frozen. Just a little bit longer. our solvent is frozen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to introduce it to the vacuum. So line of your Schlenk line, you'll see that the vacuum goes into the muck trap, then goes into the main line. So you know that it is this part here that's under vacuum. So you want to, when you open up your tap, you want to make sure that you're lining up the tap with the front in order to get vacuum to your line. So for me, that is this way. You can hear it gurgle a bit. And then we are going to open it up to the solvent. So right now we're pumping, which is removing all the volatiles from the solvent. My rule of thumb is I usually pump for a minute or two, just to be on the safe side. Realistically, as soon as you open the vacuum, the majority of the volatiles will be removed immediately. But I do like to err on the side of caution. So once you finish pumping, you're going to then close the tap to the vacuum line. You're going to remove your solvent from the dewar. And then you're going to let it thaw. You want to let it thaw until it comes to room temperature and your solution is liquid again. And then after that has happened, you will want to repeat that 3 times. It's recommended that you repeat the cycle 3 times in order to remove as much as possible from the solution and to get a fairly good oxygen-free solution. We've done 3 cycles of the freeze pump thaw, and we've let our solution come to room temperature. It's a liquid again. We're going to slowly introduce a nitrogen atmosphere. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to switch our Schlenk line to nitrogen. We're going to make sure this is closed. And you'll see so when we open up this tap, we want to do this very, very slowly. I've turned the nitrogen up just a little bit for this part. So you're going to open it very slowly, and if you open it too quickly, you'll see the bubbler actually backtrack up there, and that means that the pressure differential is too much, so you need to definitely slow it down. Okay, so there we go. So now we're under nitrogen. So now that we are under nitrogen, we are going to turn off the vacuum, close the tap to the muck trap, and then we are going to remove the muck trap, making sure that we do so carefully. And we always want to make sure that we return the trap holder up so that just in case the muck trap does fall. So now we can turn the vacuum off and vent it. Now that that has been vented, we can also vent our Schlenk line. So we're going to open up this tap again. And there you have it, how to freeze pump thaw.